business units that have a more engaged workforce appear to achieve better outcomes than those that don't. And so this team that's doing the Working at Iowa efforts here is attempting to discover to what extent does the same hold true here for us. And the Working at Iowa statements that we've been asking for years and the new addition of an engagement index, all of these are steps in that direction. So this year we introduced 9 new survey items on top of the 20. So if there's a difference between what the Working at Iowa statements have always been and these additional 9, we could say that the Working at Iowa statements are people's perceptions of or attitudes about what it's like to work at Iowa. And these items represent people's opportunities to say, and this is how I work at Iowa. And we want to know, is there a connection between the two? So you have a new page if you have that university report. And the big yellow chart shows the distribution across the entire university of employees' average responses to these 9 items on a 5-point scale, from never to always. You can see the average with the black vertical line, and then you also see the spread, or the distribution, right? Not everyone is right at that average level of 4.13. Some are higher, some are lower. So it's important to pay attention to the spread as well as the average. Now, you'll see on this chart on the front page, it's also broken down by job class, so you can see comparisons between faculty and staff, merit employees, and professional and scientific employees to gauge whether there is differences by job class. So that provides some more diagnostic information. There is new information on the next page. And this is the, okay, so why do we care about this index? I can see what the average is, but what should I do about it? Now there's some explanation here that helps for those that aren't familiar with taking one measure and correlating it with another, what a correlation is. It's a measure of linear association between two measures. The correlation ranges from -1 to +1, with correlations 1.0 being perfect correlations that we never ever observe in the world of organizational psychology. That a pretty strong relationship is observed when you have a correlation of 0.3. A medium-sized relationship would be around 0.2, and a weak relationship would be about 0.1. So you can have those benchmarks in mind as you look at the table at the bottom of this page, which lists every single one of the Working at Iowa statements and its correlation with that index of engagement. These are rank ordered, top to bottom, from strongest to weakest correlation. Now, how to interpret the information in this table. This will require some new connections that we have not made before, that will be new to people to explain to them. And so I think that there's a helpful 3-step process of thinking about this. The first will be familiar to everyone, which is in essence evaluate your standing on the Working at Iowa items themselves. Those are color-coded on the right edge of the table, where the mean rating for the entire university, according to the table you're looking at, they are color-graded. So the highest rated Working at Iowa statements are in darker green, and the lowest rated Working at Iowa statements within the university or relative to your college or division's average are in red. And it's important to recognize the ones that are highly rated and celebrate those successes. It's also important to recognize the ones that are rated low in comparison and recognize those as potential opportunities for improvement. But obviously your college or your division is not going to be able to do 20 things at once. In fact, I think it's more likely that you will be able to do a max of 2 or 3 things at once. So how to focus? If you look at the potential impact on engagement for each statement as represented by that correlation, I would work in that table from top to bottom. Meaning, if an item is in dark green and has a stronger relationship with engagement, that represents an area of focus to maintain and preserve engagement. That your college or division or the university should keep doing what it's doing to maintain existing levels of engagement. And that if the college or division were to drop off on doing that thing, that would suggest that engagement might also drop off. Then I would look at items that have a darker red mean meaning they were rated lower, but also have stronger relationships with engagement being represented by being near the top of the table. Those items represent potential opportunities for improvement that if efforts are made to take action on those perceptions, that improvement there should also be associated to some degree with improvement in engagement. And that represents an opportunity to focus, to prioritize. It's important to not look at any of the statements and say, oh, well, those don't matter because they're not related to engagement. Remember, engagement is just one outcome among many, and we haven't done the research yet to find out how all of these statements relate to every outcome that we care about, whether it's turnover or injury or patient safety. But if improving engagement is the goal, then I would work in this table from top to bottom, focusing on the items that have the darkest green to preserve and maintain engagement, and the items that have the darkest red to improve and build engagement.